hold not much on my wrist, but here on the palm of my hand. And the most important thing here in this situation is not how tight you go or anything, but to close your elbows down. Okay? It's important that you have this strength here to close your elbow down the whole time, because this is what is going to make the seatbelt tight. Okay? If you prefer to grab a little bit higher or lower, it doesn't matter as long as you keep it tight. Okay? This is like a thing for me, it works for me like this. I always like this grip, and it doesn't matter which way I'm holding. I prefer this because I feel that I have it safer and I have it tighter. I feel more comfortable like this. So I work from here. And let's say that now I am on this side of him. Okay, on this side. And he takes my bottom hook off and he goes for a guard repairing here. Okay? It's important that now I never lose the connection between my chest and his back. Okay? So it's important that I keep this tight enough, always to keep my chest connected to his back. Alright? And now what he's going to do is that he's going to try to put his back on the mat to start repairing guard. Okay? And I can't let that happen. Alright? As soon as he got my bottom hook off, I'm going to get my elbow on the mat here, always keeping the seatbelt grip tight. I can never let it go, especially now in this situation. And then my knee also goes on the mat. Okay? Yesterday we worked this hook here to avoid the guy to step on the mat and to avoid that he would make my life harder. Okay? We're going to do the same thing here, and guys, please remember that this is the situation when I have my elbow on the mat and my knee on the mat, then I go for the hook, because it might be a little bit harder to keep the hook in his ankle if I try to get it before or later than this situation here. Okay? So then I get my knee higher, closer to his neck. I bring him all the way to the other side. And here, I will get the second hook and change my grip. No, actually we will keep the grip. Okay? So now, this first part that I'm using is easier. Let's say that I have this different grip now. I am on this side here, and he does the same. Okay? He goes for the same situation, where he got my bottom hook off, and he's going for the guard repair. Okay? It's really important that I follow these steps now, because otherwise I won't be able to keep my chest connected to his back. Just the seatbelt grip differently here makes a difference, but it doesn't mean that I can't do the same technique. Okay? I will just have to add one more detail here. If the guy is trying to put his back on the mat really hard, I will just keep my grip really hard, but now I won't be able to get my elbow on the mat straight away. I have to first use my bottom leg and put my forehead on the mat, so then I can put some weight on him and work my elbow on the mat. Okay? So just remember the forehead on the mat, because in this situation with this grip here, it changes and helps a lot. Okay? And then we go for the same situation. I go for the hook, I use the hook, knee goes high, I bring him all the way to the other side, put the hook in, and then we go. This is the exercise. We go from one side to the other. Okay, one more time. So he goes here, elbow on the mat first, knee on the mat next, go for the hook, knee goes high behind his neck, I sit back, bring him all the way to the other side, and get the hook. Now, the different side, okay? He's now on the side where his arm is over my arm. I have my arm under his armpit, and then he goes for the same situation. Keep it tight, okay? First I need my leg, then my forehead. Here it's hard to go for my elbow on the mat straight away without giving him space. So forehead and knee on the mat, then I go for my elbow on the mat. Go for the hook, knee high, and here we go, from one side to the other. I like to attack not from here, for example, let's say there are many situations where we try to make the grip here first on the collar and then put our elbows on the mat, right, to go for the choke. What I like to do is that I like to just change a little bit of the order of the things here. I like to put my elbow on the mat first and then start attacking, okay? So what I do is that I'm going to get my elbow on the mat and I'm going to look for this hand on his shoulder, okay? So, elbow on the mat, this hand on his shoulder here, okay? I will keep the seatbelt grip, but I want to work now this hand tight here in his shoulder, okay? And this is the situation that we are going to look for, okay? I keep my elbows closed the whole time, and now I have a tight grip here that I don't even bother if the guy takes my hook off or if he does anything, because the seatbelt grip here is so tight that it's going to be hard for him to do anything. And not only that, but I have also the option, if I feel at some point in any danger of losing the back, I have the option to just repeat the exercise that we did and repair my back tape, okay? So once I'm here, I have options, and the first one that we are working is this one here. I'm going to just change the position of my hands, all right? So I get my knee on the mat, and I can just change the position of my hands. Instead of holding it like this, just lift your head a little bit. Instead of holding it like this, I'm going to switch and hold it like this, okay? And now, what I will start doing is that I can control the guy from this position, from this situation, because he won't have many options. Let's say that he tries to turn that way. Try to turn that way. Which way? That way, yes. I can control him from here. I can just hold him here, okay? If he just stops, he doesn't move, it will be good enough for me, because I'm still in a really good position, in a really good situation, and at some point I will get, I will find a space for submission or anything. If the guy now tries to get his back on the mat, I will just adjust a little bit more my hand. I will try to get it even deeper, to get my elbow on the mat and find myself in this situation here, okay? Once I have my elbow on the mat, try to keep holding my foot. Gianni, please. All I have to do is to get my hips up, and I'm going to turn my knee from this side of his body to this side of his body, and with that I will not only be able to slide my knee and release my foot, but I will also be working to put his back on the mat, which is really important for the, you guys call it Kata Gatame or arm triangle? This, okay, it's just that in Portuguese we call it Kata Gatame. Anyway, I will be also working his back on the mat, which is really important for the arm triangle submission here, okay? Once I release my foot, I am able to go for the submissions in two different ways, okay? The first one, the most traditional one, is just sprawling as low as I can here and start walking in this direction, squeezing my arms and going for the submission, okay? The option that I like the most when I have this arm triangle position is to get my knee, just the tip of my knee here on the tip of his hip and this foot on the mat, okay? Why that? Because now I can control his hip and I can use my hips as high as I can to lean over his arm and put the pressure here, okay? In any way that you guys prefer to go for the submission, remember that in this position it's really important that you have your elbow on the mat, this elbow, and that you don't just squeeze your arms, but you also use your head to push his elbow and his arm, okay? So let's say that I go here, I'm always using my head to push, or if I go here, I'm also always using my head to push. The most important detail in this situation here is the beginning, okay? Here. I'm here and I go for my elbow on the mat, and this hand goes to his shoulder, okay? So elbow and hand goes deep in his shoulder here. Like if I wanted to hide my hand in the back of his shoulder, my top hand keeps holding it just to make it tight enough, and now try to put your back on the mat, Yanni. I control him here. If he takes my hook off, great. If he doesn't, and I feel that I want this submission, I can take my hook back down. It's no problem. Stretch my bottom leg, turn him a little bit, and now in this situation, change the position of the hands. From here, we go here. Okay? Now I have two things that I can that I need to do before I go for the submission. The first, I need to slide my elbow a little bit more until it touches the mat, and the second one, I have to put his back on the mat. Okay? So the first thing, my elbow on the mat is not really hard. I can squeeze here a little bit, just slide until it touches there. And the second one, his back on the mat, I can work right now. Try to turn, try to do anything, Yanni. I just get my knees up, I change the position of my knees, I slide my knee this way, try to hold it, slide, slide, slide. If I need, I can just push it a little bit here, I will release, and now his back is completely on the mat. First option or second option. This is the first or the second. Just the tip of my knee on the tip of his hip. Get your hips as high as you can and go for the submission. The thing is that when we can apply the right details, we will be carrying it until we are belt for a long time, okay? I'm going to show now, just from here, the hand detail, the hand thing, because this is the most important for this technique, okay? The first thing that we do to go for this technique, to go for this kind of control, is that I have to slide my hand deeper, this hand here, until it reaches the elbow, the shoulder, okay? Because this is where we start, and this is where we have a tight enough grip to start working everything else that will work there. Okay? So remember that this is the first attack. It doesn't matter in which position, it might be from here or it might be from that other situation when we are on the side, but this is the most important thing first. I slide my hand until I can kind of hide my hand behind the shoulder, and my top hand that is holding my palm here, it's going to just make it even tighter, okay? So it's like if I wanted to bend my wrist on the back of his shoulder, okay? And then, once I'm here, I can take my hook off, or I will let him take my hook off. But this has to come first, okay? Like this, all right? So now we go for the side again. I'm here. If he tries to take my hook off now, I won't let him. I will just keep my knees tight here, try to get my hook off here. Because this is not the situation that I want yet, okay? So try to take it off. I won't let him. As soon as I have my hand in the right position, then he can take my hook off or whatever. Because now, try to do anything. This is really tight, okay? I have a really strong grip here, and he can disconnect his back from my chest, okay? And then we start working for the submission. Knee on the mat, slide, and make it touches my elbow touches the mat, okay? Once I'm here with my elbow on the mat, and I switch the position of my hands from here to here, then I'm going to start working my knees, okay? You guys remember that I said that it's really important that he has his back on the mat, his back flat on the mat, to go for this arm triangle technique, okay? When I get my hips up, when I change the direction of my left knee in this case to the other side, I'm not just trying to get my foot free, but I'm also pushing his hip to the mat, okay? So try to do anything here. Look, I'm pushing his hip. Did you guys see that I'm pushing his hip to make it flat on the mat? And then, not only I can make his back flat on the mat, but I will be able to release my foot free. Again, here we go for any option. Okay? One more detail here if you go for the second option. The option that I said is my favorite. You don't put weight here on him. You just want the tip of your knee on the tip of his hips. Okay? And you open this leg here as far as you can because you want to get your hips up. So you lean on him. You lean, you get all your weight on his arm. Okay? Try to move him. If you move this way, just yours. I control his hips this way. And then I go. I squeeze, push with my hand, and so on. I have my top hand hiding, my bottom hand, I have it really tight, and my bottom hook goes off too. Okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing here. Knee on the mat, and I change my hands the same way. Okay? But now, as we have my hand really deep here in his shoulder, I am also able to do a kind of choke that I think it's even easier than Kata Gatame. Okay? So what I do is that I put my knee on the mat. I'm always with my chest connected to his back. And what I do now is that from this position, I just switch the position of my head. Instead of it being here, I'm going to get it under his head like this. Okay? And the reason why I do that is because, again, like I said before, I'm also using in this technique my head to push his head and make it tighter. Okay? Now, it's just important that you guys understand that I want to use this part only of my arm now. It's like I don't know how to call it, but I don't want to use it here or here, but I want to use this part where my bone is, how can I say that? Well, where it's harder on his neck, okay? So don't twist your wrist or anything, but make sure that you have this part on his neck here, so you can go for the submission, okay? So here I am, my head goes under his head, so I can push. My knee goes right here, close to the back of his head to his neck, and now all I have to do is to push at the same time that I use my head to push his head. Okay, so it's just this simple, but I need to have my hands in the right position. Okay, so again, I'm here, elbow goes on the mat, my hand goes behind his shoulder, and I make it tight. I take my bottom hook off, knee goes on the mat. This is where I switch the position of my hands. If he put his back on the mat like this, I go for the Kata Gatame. It's no problem at all. Okay? But let's say that he's trying to turn that way, I'm controlling him here. It's hard to put his back on the mat. Just keep it tight here. Your head goes under his head. Your knee goes right behind his neck. Just sit back, squeeze your arms. Make sure to use the right position of your arm in his neck and use your hand to push his head. Try to move, Yanni. The guy normally wants to defend his neck by holding one of my hands at least, right? So I'm here and the guy normally uses this hand here especially to hold my wrist or to try to defend my hands, okay, from attacking his neck. In any situation, it might be here, it might be here, it might be sitting, it might be on the other side, it doesn't matter, okay? Let's say that we are here on this side that is normally better for him to defend. If the guy tries to hold one of my hands, all I have to do is to let him think that he's controlling it and just open some space. I don't have to hold his wrist, but I just open some space to make my grip that is under his arm on his hand. Okay? And now, this is one really simple thing. Many guys do this already, that they hold the wrist and they try to control from here, right? But it's different. I have a bigger control when instead of holding his wrist, I slide my hand and get my fingers on the palm of his hand. Okay, so instead of holding here, I'm going to control a little bit of the palm of his hand and his pinky finger here, like this. Okay, and once I have this grip, I'm not just trying to hold, I'm going to stretch my arm, and not only that, I'm going to twist and turn a little bit of my wrist like if I was accelerating a motorcycle. Okay, so I'm here, I just do like this. Okay, twist your wrist, hold just like this, and stretch your arm. Now try to have your hand free, Yannick. Okay, so it's a really good control. Remember to stretch your arm and turn a little bit of your wrist like this. Okay, and now as soon as I have this control of his hand, I have many possibilities here. Okay, one of my favorites is that I control this hand on my hand on his hand, just like this, and the other one gets on my wrist like this. Okay, I have a really good control now, and let's say that I can just, if I was already on this side, or I could just bring him on this side. What I do many times is that I just keep stretching, I just keep controlling his hand like this, and I'm going to use my top hook here over his leg. Okay, this is also really simple, but remember the details, guys. I can't just have my leg over his forearm and leave his elbow outside, okay? Because even if I try to control like this, he will be able to get his hand free at some point, okay? But now, if I can stretch my arm like I said we would be doing, and I can get my top leg over his elbow, you see, above the line of his elbow, I can release this hand, get my arm free from this position, and now all I have to do to keep the control is to close my knees together. Okay, I'm going to use this pressure here. Now try to get your hand free here. You see, I'm not doing anything, just try to get your hand free. And now I have all the space and time that I need to attack with both of my hands his neck. Okay, if I'm trying with this one and he's still defending, it's being hard, I can go with this one. I will just keep attacking, you see, until I can get my wrist in his throat, and I can go for a choke, any kind of choke here. Okay? So, like I said, it's more about the idea of the control here and how to trap the guy's arm. You have many possibilities later, but let's just try like this. Okay? So, let's say I'm here, he's defending my hand. Okay, I just go for this grip, slide, and hold here between his palm and his pinky finger here. Okay, now remember, here, if I just try to hold, at some point he will be able to get his hand free. But if I stretch my arm like this and turn a little bit of my wrist, try to get your hand free here. And then I have the time that I need to get my leg over the line of his elbow. My hand goes free. Remember to close your knees together now, because if I don't, if I just try to hold it here, he will be able to get the arm free. But now try. I will just be trying to find the space to attack the neck. With this hand or with this hand, it doesn't matter. Okay? But I will have a better chance, a better possibility fighting with both of my arms against just one of his arms defending. Okay, let's try.